You know, it's kind of funny, isn't it? We almost never think about our home's electrical panel.
Not until something goes wrong, right? Like the lights flicker or a breaker trips again.
Exactly. But, for us Houston homeowners, understanding that, well, that often overlooked metal box is actually pretty important.
Oh, absolutely. Think of it like the heart of your home's electrical system. It's distributing power everywhere and crucially protecting everything with those
And
breakers.
when that heart gets a bit old or maybe just overworked, that's when things can get dicey.
Yeah, and we're not just talking about like an inconvenience. Frequent outages are bad enough, but the real worry is the potential for electrical fires. Serious stuff.
Definitely. So our mission today in this deep dive is really to give you the inside track. We want to help you recognize the signs that maybe, just maybe, it's time for an electrical panel upgrade
Hmm.
for safety and, well, for handling all our modern gadgets.
Precisely. Let's jump right into one of the most common signs, those tripping circuit breakers. Now look, an occasional trip, that's fine. That's the system doing its job.
Okay, normal sometimes. But what if it's happening, like, all the time? If you're making constant trips to the panel.
Ah, that is the big red flag. That's your panel basically shouting that something isn't right.
Okay, so let's unpack that. What's usually going on when breakers trip constantly?
Well, most often, it means your panel is just overloaded. It's struggling to handle the amount of electricity you're asking it to deliver.
Too much demand.
Right. Or it could be a faulty breaker itself, they wear out, or sometimes deeper issues like problems with the wiring in your house.
And I guess this is more common in older Houston homes, built before we had, like, 10 devices charging in every room.
Exactly. Those older panels, maybe installed decades ago, they just weren't designed for today's high energy demands. Think about computers, big TVs, smart home stuff.
EV charge.
Oh, definitely EV chargers. And here's a really important pro tip we found. If that panel feels warm when you touch it or you hear any kind of buzzing sound, especially when a breaker trips.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, don't mess around. Shut off the main power if you can, safely, and call a professional electrician immediately. That's not a DIY situation.
Noted. Okay, what's another sign? Something maybe less dramatic than constant tripping.
How about flickering or dimming lights? You know when the lights kind of dip when a big appliance turns on?
Yeah, it happens when my AC kicks on sometimes.
Yeah.
Annoying, but is it serious?
It can be more than just annoying. It often indicates the panel is straining to maintain consistent voltage, like it's struggling to keep the power steady.
Okay, so the panel's under stress again.
Could be. It might be those voltage fluctuations because it's overloaded, or it could point to maybe loose wiring inside the panel or even corrosion,
Okay.
or the panel isn't big enough capacity-wise for everything you're running.
And I read that inconsistent voltage isn't great for our electronics either.
Definitely not. Over time, those dips and surges can actually shorten the lifespan of your computers, TVs, even major appliances. So a panel upgrade isn't just about stopping the flickering, it's about protecting your stuff, ensuring that steady, balanced power flow.
Makes sense. All right, let's talk about age. How old is too old for an electrical panel? Is there a general rule of thumb?
Yeah, there is. Generally, electrical panels have a lifespan somewhere in the range of, say, 25 to 40 years.
Okay, 25 to 40.
So if your Houston home was built back in the 1980s or even earlier, and you know the panel hasn't been replaced, well, it could be living on borrowed time.
And are there specific types of older panels that are more worrying?
Yes, definitely. Homeowners really need to be aware of panels made by Federal Pacific Electric, often called FPE, and also Zinsco panels. These have known issues. There have been documented cases of their breakers failing to trip when they should, which poses a significant fire risk.
Wow, okay, FPE and Zinsco. Good to know.
Yeah.
What about other risks with just generally old panels, even if they aren't those specific brands?
Well, beyond just wearing out, older panels often lack modern safety features like arc fault circuit interrupters or AFCIs. Those are crucial for preventing fires caused by arcing faults in wiring.
Stuff we take for granted in newer homes.
Exactly. And again, they often just don't have the capacity for modern loads. Plus, finding replacement breakers for really old, obsolete panels can become almost impossible.
So what if an older panel looks okay, mostly, but maybe there's a bit of rust or the labels are faded?
Even then, it's worth getting it checked out. Any visible rust, damage, outdated labeling, it might mean it doesn't meet current Houston electrical codes anymore. And your insurance company might even have issues with it. An inspection by a qualified electrician is really the best way to know for sure.
Better safe than sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, let's shift to something that sounds immediately alarming. Burn marks, melting, or strange smells around the panel.
Okay, yeah. This is not subtle. This is a major emergency warning sign. If you see any dark scorch marks on or around the breakers, any sign of plastic melting, or if you smell something like burning plastic or ozone,
Don't touch anything.
do not touch the panel. Don't try to reset breakers. This indicates severe overheating, potentially arcing connections, a very immediate fire hazard. You need to call for emergency electrical help right away. Your safety is the absolute priority.
Got it. And just for our Houston listeners, if they face that kind of emergency, Smart Choice Electrical actually has a number for that, right?
Yes, they do. For emergencies like that, their number is 713-955-5350. Keep that handy.
Okay, 713-955-5350 for emergencies. Good. Now, moving away from immediate danger signs, what about plan changes? Like if someone in Houston is renovating or adding major appliances?
Yes. This is probably one of the most common triggers for a necessary panel upgrade. Think about it, you're adding a big home addition, maybe a new, powerful HVAC system.
Or renovating the kitchen with all new appliances?
Exactly. Or maybe installing an EV charger, putting in a pool or a hot tub. All these things dramatically increase the electrical demand on your home.
And the existing panel might just not be up to the task.
Precisely. It might not have enough amperage, that's the measure of electrical capacity, or it might literally not have any physical empty slots to add the new circuits required for these additions.
So you'd need to upgrade to a higher capacity panel, maybe to like a 200 amp panel, or sometimes even more.
Often, yes. Think of amps like the width of the pipe carrying electricity to your home. Adding more appliances is like trying to push more water through the same pipe eventually. You need a bigger pipe, a higher amp panel to handle the flow safely and effectively. Things like tankless water heaters, home offices loaded with tech, smart home systems, they all add up.
That makes sense. And I recall you mentioning that Smart Choice Electrical offers something called an electric load analysis. What's that about?
Right. An electric load analysis is basically a professional calculation. An electrician assesses all your current electrical usage, lights, appliances, everything, and then factors in any planned additions like that new AC or EV charger.
To see if the current panel can actually handle it all.
Exactly. It takes the guesswork out. They can tell you definitively, yes, your 100 amp panel is fine, or no, with that new hot tub, you really need to upgrade to 200 amps. It's super helpful for planning.
Sounds essential before starting big projects.
Yeah.
Now, what if the panel's capacity, the amps, is okay, but it's just full? Like no empty slots for breakers.
Yeah, that happens a lot too, especially in older Houston homes that might have started with a smaller 100 amp panel. Over the years, maybe circuits were added for this or that, and now every single space is taken.
So even if the panel isn't overloaded in terms of amps, you physically can't add anything new.
Correct. No room at the inn, so to speak.
What are the options then?
Well, sometimes installing a sub-panel can be a solution. It's like adding a smaller secondary breaker box that feeds off the main one. It can work,
No.
but often, if you're already facing space issues, it might be a sign that upgrading the main panel itself is the better long-term investment. It gives you more capacity and more space for future needs, plus you get all the modern safety features. It's generally seen as the more robust, future-proof solution.
Okay, upgrading the main panel sounds like the cleaner, maybe safer way to go in many cases. So we've covered a lot of ground-tripping breakers, flickering lights, age, scary burn marks, adding new stuff, running out of space. Now let's talk specifically about how a company like Smart Choice Electrical helps Houston homeowners navigate this.
Right. Well, Smart Choice Electrical really focuses on this exact area, helping Houston folks get their electrical systems safe, up-to-date, and ready for modern life. They've got over 30 years of combined experience doing this right here in the Houston area.
That's a lot of local experience. And they're properly licensed and insured, I assume.
Oh, absolutely. Fully licensed, bonded, and insured. That's non-negotiable for electrical work. Gives you peace of mind.
Definitely. What else makes them a good choice for someone considering a panel upgrade here in Houston?
They really emphasize personalized consultations. They understand that every home, every situation is a bit different. Plus, they aim for transparent pricing, no nasty surprises on the bill.
That's always appreciated.
And as we mentioned, they have that 24/7 emergency service, which is crucial if you encounter one of those really serious warning signs. Being local, they also get the specific challenges we face here on the Gulf Coast, humidity impacts, older housing stock, that kind of thing.
It really sounds like they position themselves as helping Houston homeowners be proactive rather than reactive about electrical safety, which, as we've discussed, can save a lot of trouble later, damage TVs, emergency call-out fees, or worse.
Exactly. Being proactive with your electrical panel is just smart. It's an investment in your home's safety and its ability to function the way you need it to.
So, final piece of advice.
Mm.
If a Houston homeowner is listening right now and maybe nodding along to some of these warning signs, the flickering lights, the frequent trips, the old panel, what's the concrete next step they should take?
Don't just worry about it, get it checked. The clear call to action is to reach out to Smart Choice Electrical for a professional evaluation of your panel. They can assess its condition, check the load, and tell you what you need.
And the number to call?
You can reach Smart Choice Electrical at 713-955-5350. That's 713-955-5350. Give them a call, schedule that assessment, or just talk through your concerns about an upgrade. Don't wait for a small issue to become a big problem.
Great advice. Okay, so let's wrap this up. We've established just how vital that electrical panel is, really is the heart of your home's electrical system. Keeping it safe and up-to-date is crucial for every single homeowner.
And we've walked through those key warning signs. Constant breaker tripping, those annoying flickering lights, simply having an old panel, especially those FPE or Zinsco types.
Right, and the really serious stuff like burn marks or melting, plus planning for home expansions or just running out of circuit space.
All things to watch out for.
So here's something to ponder as we finish. Think about your own home here in Houston. How old is it? How much electricity are you actually using day-to-day compared to, say, 10 or 20 years ago? Is your electrical panel truly up to the job, not just for today, but for the future? Being proactive about your electrical safety, well, that really is a smart choice.